My name is William Goit. I'm a licensed acupuncturist who's been helping people get healthy and stay healthy since 1986. You may know me as Professor Chi. Today, I want to talk about effortless effort, non-doing, or what the Chinese call the Wu Wei. Now, effortless effort seems like a contradiction in terms. I mean, how could it be effort that's effortless? Or non-doing. Non-doing just seems completely ridiculous. What do you mean non-doing? You're either doing something or you're not. The Wu Wei the word Wu means non, and Wei means effort. So it literally does mean non-doing or not doing. But it's not exactly like it seems. Because there is effort involved in effortless effort. There's a tremendous effort involved in effortless effort, but it's not the kind of effort that you may think. Furthermore, the whole idea of effortless effort seems like anti-American because we're so into effort. You know, the highest virtue these days is to be busy. Oh my goodness, I'm so busy. People say this all the time. And the phone, our ability to be connected to everything and everybody creates this feeling of being in a hurry because information is coming in so quickly. But information, as we all know, is not getting things done. Information is just analysis. Furthermore, a lot of analysis leads to paralysis. So this modern concept of being in a hurry, so much of it is just based on more information, not more action. Now, non-doing is really about non-contrivance. And the word contrivance means that you've got an idea about how it is and you're putting your 2 cents in as you're doing it. Because things can get done without us thinking about it. And that, in many ways, is what non-doing or effortless effort is about, is that we don't necessarily have to think about what we're doing while we're doing it. Now, of course, you have to think about it beforehand and have some sort of template or plan about what you're going to do. But while you're doing things, overthinking what you're doing usually causes a problem. So non-doing is getting the thinking, the overthinking out of the way while we're doing things. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to understand about non-doing in order to practice it. Because if we're not going to think about it, well, what are we doing? Our conscious mind only can think of picks up on 60 bits of information per second, while the unconscious mind picks up on 600 million bits of information per second. So non-doing relies on the unconscious mind more than the conscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is the thinking mind, and it is very slow, and it's just like point A to point B to point C. It just chugs along with details. Whereas the subconscious mind picks up on everything all at once. 600 million bits of information, it's picking up on everything in your environment instantaneously. So we plug into this instantaneous kind of consciousness when we're practicing non-doing or when we're living our life in an effortless effort kind of way. Now, we can call this intuition. We can call this getting in touch with essence, the essence of things, or knowing. Knowing is very different than knowledge. Knowledge means that you have an accumulation of facts and you're holding on to them and you have a certain amount of proficiency perhaps in a certain field. Whereas knowing is instantaneously happens. You instantaneously know something. You walk into a situation and you just know what's going on. Now, this certainly takes a certain amount of practice, and we can call this, again, intuition or instinct. But and furthermore, intuition and instinct works only as well as you're prepared. So there's a contradiction here or a paradox, because I'm not saying that it's about ignorance. This is not about ignorance. It's about mindfulness. when we're very mindful in the moment, we can look or feel our way through situations and get a knowing about what to do next. Then we can employ our knowledge when it's necessary. We don't necessarily have to have all the details in order to get things done. It's a bit like how martial arts works. If you come in and you're going to fight or you're going to have a conflict and you start pushing and striking first, chances are you're going to lose the fight. If you wait and allow your opponent's energy to come towards you and then get out of the way at just the last second, that's how you conserve your energy, and then you can know what to do next. Knowing what to do next in the moment is what non-doing or effortless effort is all about. Paying attention to the little clues and feelings of what's going on around you while you're doing it. It can also be called the noble art of leaving things undone. Because when we overthink and then overdo, chances are we're spinning our wheels, doing things that don't really need to be done at that moment. If we sit back and we wait and we relax a little, then perhaps what really needs to be done comes into view. Because this is all about paying attention to what actually needs to be done and then doing it. And doing it mindfully, doing it completely, and doing it without overthinking it. This may seem a little contradictory to how we're taught in the West how to get things done. I mean, for instance, you're supposed to rely on experts. You're supposed to rely on protocol. And the idea of just knowing just doesn't make any sense. But think about this clearly. Sometimes we really do know exactly what needs to be done, and then when you just do it, synchronization starts to happen. And synchronization is the key to effortless effort. You get the feeling of what needs to be done, you start moving towards it, and suddenly everything just starts falling into place. Synchronized events start to happen. Suddenly, what you need is right there. The people you need to know, the people you need to help you with whatever you're doing are suddenly in view. This may seem a little bit like magic, and it kind of feels magical. Our life can be synchronized, and we can start to enjoy what we're doing more when we just allow it to happen. Now, of course, if you have a job and your boss says get to work, you can't say, hey, dude, I'm practicing effortless effort, get off my back. That isn't going to work. This is more about the things that are just involving you. Now, you certainly can have a certain amount of effortless effort at work and be more efficient if you're not overthinking and you're nervous, and you're trying too hard. Trying too hard is really what I'm talking about. When we try too hard and we overdo, things seldom work out. Effortless effort or the Wu Wei is a little more complicated than what I'm saying, in that we need to have ourselves in a place where we're right in the moment for it to start to work. And this might involve being clear about who we are and where we're coming from. Who you are and where you're coming from, there may be a certain amount of distancing yourself from your early childhood conditioning and the limitations that society has put upon you before you can get to the place where you feel clear in your heart and have the faith to make the leap in faith that it takes to start to rely on your intuition and your subconscious mind when you're trying to get things done. So, being good at effortless effort, or the Wu Wei, involves being clear. The clarity that it takes to see the polarity in the world and how things are actually unfolding in front of you. Everything in this world is polarized, and if things are happening very quickly and in a very yang nature, you can be assured it's going to come to some sort of plateau and then suddenly its opposite will start to appear. So paying attention to how things are unfolding around you is the key to effortless effort. And the ability to see how things are unfolding in a positive and negative, or a yin and yang kind of way around you, is about clarity. It's about being poised inside of yourself, where you really are coming from, not just what you think is happening, but what you know and feel is happening. And from there, you can start to rely on your subconscious mind or your intuition or your instincts to look to tell you what's going to happen next. But we cannot be, overthinking, or we'll miss all the little subtle cues. The better you get at paying attention to subtle energy and the subtle energies that are happening around you, the better you get at reading your own subconscious mind. Because the subconscious mind is happening so fast, there's so much happening, that it's a high frequency or a subtle energy of what's going on around you, the essence of what's going on around you. Because if you just look at the forms rather than the energy behind the forms, you'll miss it completely. Being in touch with your own energy is the way that we be in touch with the energy around us. And the subconscious mind is picking up on energy, because there's all the little subtle details, the 600 million subtle details per second around you are energetic in nature. For instance, you get a feeling about somebody, and it just happens all of a sudden. They give you a little sidelong glance, and you pick up on the feeling in their eyes coming off of them that says, "Don't trust this individual." That's what I'm talking about. It's the little cues of what's going on around you. Perhaps it'll be just a little flash on the corner of your eye, and you look over there and you see something happening, and it's like something. Your hair bristles up a little, and then all of a sudden, you notice that, hey, there's something going on over here that doesn't feel right. And as you pay attention to that, sure enough, it starts to come into focus, and there's a threatening thing going on over there. And if you were paying attention a few seconds beforehand, you would know to not go in that direction. This is just an example. There are little subtle cues of synchronicity that happen around us all the time. If we pay attention to these subtle cues, these energetic feelings that are happening around us, the more we do that, and the better we get good at reading that energy around us, the more we can rely on our intuition and our subconscious mind to allow the cues to help things get done in a very orderly fashion. This is what effortless effort is. Allowing things to unfold in front of you, so you know when the proper time to act comes up. Effortless effort is about being tuned into the present moment and being mindful. But get into deep breathing, practice solar qigong or something like that teaches you how to get in touch with the subtle energy inside of your breath. And from there, as you become more in tune with that energy that's inside of you, you start to see it around you. As you become attuned to the energy around you, then you can start to trust the knowing feeling that you get from the energies around you, and you can start to practice effortless effort in a good way.